What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Supra, or TMG, and we are back today with another fire video. Today, we're reviewing Days Before Rodeo, or DBR, by Travis Scott. The highly esteemed mixtape by Scott finally dropped last week on streaming. And it technically released in 2014, but it never actually reached streaming services until last week. So I was very excited to take a deep dive into it. Now, Jock Webster, aka Travis Scott, is one of the most popular rappers out right now. And this is mainly because of his experimental sounds and production, along with his mastering of autotune vocals. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, first, I'll cover the artist's ability. So, obviously, Travis has never been an elite lyricist, and this project kind of shows that. You'll never see the lyricism you see from like Kendrick, J. Cole, or Eminem, who are like some of the best lyricists of all time. But it's not really terrible either, so I just say it's overall just mid lyricism. And he definitely has a much better pen game and improves his lyricism in his future albums. So like anything like Rodeo, Birds in the Trap, Astroworld, and Utopia all have a lot better lyricism than you find on this project. And again, lyricism isn't really Travis's biggest strong suit. I'd personally say his flow and his production are a whole lot better. And getting into his flow is good on this album, but it seems kind of repetitive in a couple songs. But I think overall it's well done and it's not really drawn out and overdone on each song. Now onto the production. Travis's production is amazing. It's heavenly. And this is what you'll find in Travis from like any of his projects. Any of his albums or even Days Before Rodeo, he always has great production. Because what he does is he creates this incredibly unique drum and instrument sound on each song, and he also adds in his autotune vocals, and it just flows through and creates this incredible listening experience. And he also brings in really talented producers like Metro, Mike Dean, and Southside. So the album is produced very, very well. Now on to the features. The features, in my opinion, were really, really good. I'd say my favorite features were probably Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan on Mamacita, Young Thug on Skyfall, and Big Sean on Don't Play. So from an artist ability standpoint, this album is decent to solid, I'd say. Now onto the second main point we're going to talk about today, which is album quality. I'd say this album has a couple of skips, but overall it's very solid. The skips, in my opinion, are the worst songs, which are Sloppy Toppy and Gray, which are decent songs, but in my opinion, not really great. But the thing is, the rest of the songs actually make up for these skips, because they are actually great. The best songs, in my opinion, are Backyard, Mamacita, and The Prayer, while the underrated songs are Basement Freestyle, Quintana Part 2, and Don't Play. So from an album standpoint, this album is going to be a great album. So now, we'll get into the third main part, which is the concept. Now, there's not really an overarching concept, but this mixtape did release a year before Rodeo, which is his first studio album, hence the name Days Before Rodeo. And I think this mixtape really put Travis Scott on the map as an artist. Obviously, he released Alfaro, which was his first mixtape, but that was overall meh, and I think Days Before Rodeo really stepped it up from there. And even before Alfaro, obviously he was a producer for Kanye West and even helped produce Yeezus, but DBR, in my opinion, really showed that Travis could be a standalone artist and really carve his name in the rap game. And also, this album included features from Young Thug, The Migos, and Rich Homie Quan, who were all growing as artists, and appearances on this album helped boost their careers. And I guess Big Sean also featured on this album, but he was already decently big by then, but this definitely aided his popularity. So although there's no overarching concept, the influence of this album is still overarching, as it kickstarted many famous artists, rappers, producers' careers. The Migos, Young Thug, Metro was producing on this album, and it also establishes the blueprint for Travis's future. So from an influence standpoint, this album is good. So now, comparing this album to the rest of his discography. The album is overall very solid, with some misses. The elite production really carries it, and its influence is still important to this day, with the number of artists that on this mixtape that essentially became famous afterwards. In my opinion, this is the worst of Travis' discography, as every solo album afterwards clears it. But it's not a bad album by any stretch. So I would give it a 7 out of 10. So thank you all for watching. If you liked my video, like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you were as excited for Days Before Rodeo as I was, or just let me know if you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, whatever it is. That's all we have for today, and until next time.